statewide property tax stuff. I mentioned property tax right now is allocated or imposed on a county or a school district rate or basis. We don't have a statewide school or a statewide property tax. You could put one in place to raise additional revenue. You could use it for the general fund. You could use it for the education fund. You could do with it whatever you want. And it would be something that could raise some significant money if you, that second bullet point. If you put in 0.1, which is a very small percentage of statewide property tax, it would increase everybody who owns real property, it would increase their taxes. And 0.1% would increase, would raise up to $300 million annually. That'd make a significant difference to the education fund. Keep in mind how big the education fund is, though. I mean, Thomas, do you know how much money from the state income tax do we use specifically for education? You said it was about $4.5 billion. But how much of that is higher ed?
Around $600 million for higher ed. So if you add corporate to the $4.5 billion, then it's around $4.8 billion in total revenue to the education fund. So $600 million out of the $4.8 billion is higher ed.
Okay.
$4.2 billion is public ed.
So what I hear Dr. Young saying is, if you did this, it would add less than 10% increase to the public education coffers. If you did that and took every nickel of that $300 million and put it in public ed, it'd be a significant amount of money, but it wouldn't get us anywhere near where a lot of people say we need to be in terms of per pupil spending. I mean, I'm trying to put these things in perspective. Okay, payment in lieu of taxes, this third bullet point is something that actually I've worked on a fair amount with my friend, Representative Ivory, and this is a good example of working across the aisle. Representative Ivory and I agree on this. Payment in lieu of taxes is money that is paid by the federal government on the property that they own in the state of Utah. About 2/3 of the state of Utah is owned by the federal government. We can't tax any of it, like none of it. It's all off the table. And that's been a real hardship for Utah, and a lot of other states that have a high percentage of their lands that are owned by the feds. So a long time ago, the states went to the federal government and said, hey, you gotta give us some payment in lieu of those taxes that we're losing out on. And the Fed said, okay. And they come up with this, what we call PILT, the Payment in Lieu of Taxes Program. And I don't know exactly how they come up with the numbers, but payment in lieu of taxes in the last meeting that we had town hall with was with Jonathan Ball and Holiday, and he was there. He was attending, and he said, my recollection is that we get about $40 million a year in money in payment in lieu of taxes from the federal government on their property that they own. Well, let me tell you something. That's nothing. That's nothing. What?
Goes to the county.
Goes straight to the counties. That's right. It's not going to the state. That's a good point. Thank you, Glenn. It goes to the counties. But the point is, it's money that is used for various expenditures to benefit the people of the state of Utah, whether it goes to the state or whether it goes to the county. I don't have a problem with the county. What I want to see is greater income. I think most Utahns would agree, and Ivory, I know, is on the same page with me. And I think most legislators, in fact, I'd be surprised if any legislators disagree with us on this in terms of trying to get more money out of the feds. The most recent thing that I think is really kind of exciting that Ivory and I have been working on, and other people on the Federalism Commission, is this is a commission that is made up of state legislators from both the House and the Senate. And we meet regularly, and we have put out a request for proposal for a company that will do a better job of more specifically and objectively valuing public lands held by the feds and presenting that information to the federal government to say, if this is payment in lieu of taxes, you should be looking at the actual value that those federal lands have and increasing significantly the amount of money that you pay us. For what?
I've seen analysis that if you evaluate our national forests as open space in the counties, we get 4 times the
Yeah. We're talking about a significant amount of money here.
But you said right now it's 40 million now.
40 million now, but
4 times that is
160 million.
160.
Well, hey, that's a lot of money. I mean, in terms of the entire size of the state budget, it's not that much money, right? But we're talking about aggregation of a lot of different sources of revenue.
A
So
lot of money on county budgets.
a lot of money in county budgets. So anyway,
Rural counties, national parks.
places like Wayne County, my father was born in Teasdale, I have a soft spot in my heart for Wayne County. But it's like 90+% owned by the feds. So, in the last few months, probably 6 or 8 months, we, on the Federalism Commission, authorized a company called Geomancer to provide us with a pilot program of valuing federal lands down Washington County. It was great. They came back, they reported what they came up with. Really interesting stuff, objectively verifiable stuff. We were excited about it. We authorized, but we haven't gotten this, we're in the middle of doing an RFP for anybody, Geomancer and other people that were on, anybody who wants to bid on it for the entire state. But once we get this information, and if we could get other states to do this too, if it's just Utah going to the Congress and asking for this money, not nearly as likely that you get the money generated from Congress. But if the western states, do you know how much of California is owned by the federal government? You don't think about California as being a federally owned land, state. It is. It's like 45% of the entire state of California is owned by the federal government. Yeah. And don't quote me those numbers, but it's really significant. Nevada is the highest, it's at over 80%. But Utah's number 2, two-thirds of our land. And, you know, Idaho and Wyoming and Colorado and New Mexico, Arizona, they're all like 30, 40, 50% of their land is owned by the federal government. So if we could, not just Utah alone, but if we could get other states to buy into this idea of presenting as a unified front information to Congress to say, you're grossly undervaluing these federal lands for purposes of bill payments, you need to get more money to us, that would help. You can say, yeah, but the federal government's subject to political whim. I get that. It's still be better than nothing. Okay. That's the bill.